Thank you for tuning in with us. My name is Eugene Tinker, CEO and owner of a small company here in Montgomery, Alabama, Certified Technical Experts. Very interesting story with myself. I grew up single parent household, basically had some ideas on how to actually start a business. So once I put those ideas in place, I started with a roadmap, and my roadmap was to then start a trade. So I went to a trade school and got 2 associate's degrees. From that trade school, instructor basically led towards the certification area. So from there, went to college, started University of Alabama there in electrical engineering. And from there, I began to proceed towards the certifications. Down the road, after the certifications, which about 5 years after graduation, I had about 10 certifications. So from a Microsoft to an IBM to a hardware guy, as well as a network guy, I was there. Started a company, worked in Montgomery, Alabama, within the IT realm. Worked on Gunner Air Force Base and started a company called Certified Technical Experts. Very prominent company. We've been in business for about 3 years now. Within those 3 years, it was tough. So one of the things that you have to put together is a business plan. Putting together a business plan, it allows you to actually be able to have a foundation or a background. Once that background is done, or the foundation is complete, then you could proceed. That's going to the banks, talking to your small business resources, talking to different areas to actually help you be able to start your business. Because there's help out there. There's a lot of help that actually allows you to be able to get into business, and from a financial standpoint, it allows you to be able to not spend as much. So you could take an idea, as far as Coca-Cola bottle, but you can basically take that idea and touch base with the right resources and be able to move forward. Well, just move forward. Company has been in business for 3 years, Montgomery, Alabama. Became a 8A certified company. From there, we start gaining contracts. Then you got to have a good, solid understanding of what the business is that you're trying to sell. So being in technology my whole entire life since I was 15, I understand what I'm selling, how I'm selling it, and who I'm selling it to. There's a big difference between selling your services or products to the government and selling them to the commercial world. One of the things that you have to keep in mind, the government basically allows you to be able to contract. So from a contractor standpoint, you have to be certified, insured, and able to proceed within the contract. All right? So with all that being said and done, started the company, and here we are, here to actually help you guys understand the business aspect from a technology or certification era. The way you connect with the government is very simple. You basically get out and talk to, get to some of these events. You have your small business resource center that has events. You talk to your different small businesses that have different things. You have to get yourself out there. You have to make yourself known. The hardest part is if they don't know you, they're not going to do business with you. So you have to make sure that you're known. You have to make sure that your trademark is actually able to stand solid. So you have to put yourself around the environment of people that are doing the same things that you're trying to do or that you're doing right now. So marketing, you want to talk to all of your government agencies. Get there, get to some of the different events. You have MITS, which is a Montgomery Industry Technology event. We have to read. Montgomery Industry Technology Event. You have what we call vendor industry days. Those are held out on your different government sites where the government comes in and they actually present to you some of the things that they're looking for services for, even products that they're looking to buy. You're actually able to get in with those guys, pass out some business cards. Make sure you have business cards. Business cards are key because I can't reach back to you unless you have a business card or some way that I can contact you. Make sure your website is solid. Make sure your website basically explains everything that you do, even from a past performance. If you understand the things that you're doing and you have a past performance, if you've done it on a job, make sure that your website actually shows those things, because now I don't see you anymore, so I'm buying strictly from your website. So make sure that that's key. Website is important. That's the way you start getting in contact with government. What'll happen is government will start finding you, and they're finding you through your website. So make sure that's one of your key things. Next thing, seek out for certifications. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably never heard of it or have never been around people talking about a small business or small disadvantaged business. But SBA is located here at Alabama State University. You have Mr. Lorenzo Patrick is one of the key guys that you need to talk to when you're looking to do things from a small disadvantaged business. That's one of your key things. You have to find your locations, because without finding those locations where there's help, they can open doors for you and allow you to be able to get into certain places or to get certain funding, to actually be able to get your business, to get these different certifications. And they have knowledge on the certifications that are needed in the area. 1, 8A. 8A is a small disadvantaged contract that it's a 9-year contract. Now with that contract, you can make up to $25 million per NAICS code. Now, I know you guys are like, what is he talking about? NAICS codes, but 25 million. You won't find this type of information out until you meet with your small business resource, which is, like I said, Mr. Lorenzo Patrick. He can give you some of that information, because what he wants to look at, or what they want to look at from that standpoint, is how your business is structured. What are you looking for? What are your NAICS codes? What are the things that you're telling me that you'll specialize in? So that's very, very important. Certifications are key. Those are the key things to be able to, because the government has to find a way to be able to award you contracts. If they don't have any way to award you a contract, then your business is there, but I don't have any way to pay you. So that's the key thing, certifications. The IT field is in a very high demand. The reason why is because you have all of this different type of security, which you got cyber security, you have assurance. These things are very, very high. I mean, everybody now, building a computer is the easiest thing, but who can maintain that? When these problems occur, who can maintain it? That's a key thing. Always think about security. I always think, basically, I know a lot of us use social media. Well, social media has to be secured, but if you don't understand the technology standpoint, you can't go into the government and sell them and tell them, hey, I can keep everything on your end secured. But you got to understand what's the demand. And technology security is one of your high demands, which is cybersecurity. It's a high demand. Information assurance, meaning that you can walk into a facility and make sure that you assure them that all of their information is going to be assured, because you can come in and secure that information. Technology, very high demand. Everything's going through a smartphone. Everything is using your iPads or your Androids. But you got to think about security. Everything is technology. Next thing, certification for your professional career. Right now, I hold about 19 certifications. For my professional career, those certifications helped me grow financially very, very, very easily. What happens is, you can look at your resume right? And you could take your resume and look at it from a technical standpoint. If I came in and I looked at your resume, one thing that I'm gonna look at is, okay, you have your degree, you have some experience, but are you certified? I could look at this resume, they have a degree or they have no degree, but they have 10 certifications, right? Well, I'm gonna lean more towards this person with 10 certifications. Let me explain to you why. Those 10 certifications, not only does that person know what they're doing, but that person can actually be able to read and understand it on a paper standpoint other than putting hands on it. So your certification is going to be professional certification is going to be so important, and you have to keep them up to date, because if not, what'll happen is I'll have another certified person that comes in. Your system changes. Right now, IT changing every 3 months. So if you're not certified and you're not up to the standards, it kind of limits you. I know one of the things that from a job standpoint, and we're looking at a military standpoint, you have to actually be able to have a certification before they allow you to actually be able to get on the job. So certifications is key. So if you went to school for 4 years, you have a bachelor's degree, you have associate degree, and you have no certifications. Well, guess what? They'll hire you and say, I'll give you 3 months to get a certification. After those 3 months, you don't have that certification, I have to bring somebody in that's certified. One of the key things is with certifications, if you're owning a business, those certifications will allow you to create partnerships with the people you get the certifications from. So if you get a certification with Microsoft, it'll allow you to become a partner with Microsoft. What that does is it'll allow you to have some reach back capabilities within Microsoft. So make sure that you're certified in the things that you're going to sell, or make sure that your technicians are certified in the things that they're going to help you sustain. Okay? You have different ranges of IT. I think I said that you have cybersecurity, where you can actually be able to secure an environment. Well, you have sustainment, where I can come in and look into an environment and I can sustain this environment. I just make sure your environment stays up and running, make sure your network never goes down. And you have another path. You may have a path where you're a that means that I don't have to go out and actually touch any of the hardware, but I can write to you and tell you how everything works. That is real important, because what you're thinking about is, if you go down your steps, the people that are selling the business, whoever you're selling the business to, they're basically reading a proposal that you're sending to them. So you need to have a good background or a good technical writer that can basically explain everything without you even being there to touch it. So it's like building a storybook, and I'm telling a story, and throughout that story, you're looking for the end, because throughout that, you just imagining everything that's going on. So you have different pathways of technology. You don't always have to build a computer. You don't always have to write code and write programs. You can actually be able to listen to someone and let someone get you to understand what's going on throughout the environment, and you can describe the whole environment, how it works, why it breaks, what do you need to fix it. That's key, because it's easy to explain it, but it's hard to put it down on paper. So there's different ways to technology. One of your key steps to get into your career, like I said, and I'll keep saying it over and over, you guys will hear this over and over and over again, you have to love what you do. If you're not a programmer, don't go into a programming environment and say, I can program, because that's gonna hurt you a long ways, because your name, your company name, your name as a whole will be tarnished, because these are things that people remember you from, right? So you have to make sure that you're taking the right steps. Find something that you really like. One of the key things that I looked at was, I used to work on cars with my father growing up as a kid. Well, I used to bust my fingers and taking motors out and stuff of the sort. Well, what I looked at was, I could take a computer apart, put on a nice white jacket, and never get dirty. So it's the same thing as building an engine for a car, because at the end of the time, once you put that engine together, you put the key in the ignition and you crank it up, right? Well, when I put that computer together, I plug my power cord into the back and I hit the power button. Same thing, but I ain't busting my fingers over on this one and over on that one. I bust my fingers a lot and I got hot. Well, one of the other things was most of the time I'm in a real good climate where I'm not hot. If it's cold outside, I'm warm. You gotta look at these things. So, but what you gotta keep in mind is it has to be something you love. You cannot go into things that you don't love or you don't have a passion for. It's a real key, because in this business, the government sector, your name, your company name is so key because it travels. So if you do good work, guess what happened? Good work will start looking for you. If you do bad work, guess what happened? You'll never have to worry about getting a phone call because work won't come your way. If you're interested in doing like any interview, you can basically here, like I said, get in contact with Mr. Patrick. Or you can go over to the Small Business Resource Center and talk to Mr. Douglas Jones. Those guys can direct you to the right path. They can help you. Mr. Patrick can tell you, hey, we'll talk to Mr. Jones and get you, put you in an environment where there's a whole bunch of different little companies in a building. Where now it's up to you. You have to network with those guys. You have to interview those guys. I always felt like this. All of the employees that works for me right now, and there's about 38 employees that work for me right now, I always tell my technicians, the best technician is a technician that can pick up the phone and call another technician. You know the reason why I say that? Is because some situations, you're in it. So it's very hard to understand some things when you're so passionate for it and you're in the middle of it. One prime example, I know all of you guys probably went to a football game and sat up high in the stand. And you're looking down at the player that's running the ball, where it looks like he can run around all of the tackles and run this away and go straight to the touchdown. Well, guess what? He's not thinking that way because he's in it. But if he calls one of his linemen and say, block this one, right? Well, he's calling out for help. And now that lineman can basically open the pathway for him and he can run even faster. So always remember, it's not about being solo Clint Eastwood. I can handle it all myself. Because what I can tell you is it's going to be so much on your shoulders that you're going to weigh yourself down so quickly and fast, and you're not going to have the passion for it anymore. Put yourself around people that can help you. Put yourself around people that will be able to give you some advice, can tell you about some of the hills that they had to climb and show you how to go around those hills. Always keep that in mind. Best technician is a technician that can call another technician. Or the best CEO is a CEO that can go to a resource and actually be able to ask that resource for advice. Always remember that, because now, even if you're a CEO, it's not about you anymore. It's about all of the employees that works for you. Keep that in mind.